Welcome back to CTV Morning Live. We do have an Ask the Expert segment right now with Auger Hollingsworth. You can take a moment to send us in a message and a question via our email, ottawa.morning@ctv.ca. You can always leave us a question via our Facebook page and our Twitter page as well. We can take the calls live on the air, 789-6559, extension 2803. And half of the partnership of the law firm, Brenda Hollingsworth, is joining us. Great to have you back on the show.
Thanks for having me.
So much information, to offer during these segments, and you've hit on a number of different topics. Today we're really going to focus on some of the insurance aspects that you really want people to know once they've been able to walk away from the scene of an accident.
Right. Yeah. Everything that happens with your insurance company really comes down to what your insurance policy says, and most people are surprised to hear that most of what's in your insurance policy is mandatory. We don't get a lot of choice about what we have in our liability policy. The Ontario government sets it. So knowing what you're entitled to is really important.
How would people really kind of go and cross off the list then as to what's expected, what is mandatory by government standards, and then what is being thrown in or what's bonus and what you're paying for with your insurance?
Well, when you buy insurance, you want to make sure you understand. There's a lot of advertising about, cheapest rates and do it online. But for my money, I would probably want to talk to a broker so that I actually understand what coverage I have. In September 2010, there were big changes to Ontario's auto insurance. A lot of people don't realize that, but a lot of the automatic coverage you had disappeared on that day. And very, very few people have actually bought supplementary coverage to bring them back to where they were in September 2010.
So up until September 2010, we thought we had a certain coverage.
Right.
Policies changed.
That's right.
And a lot of things were taken off without us really knowing what was being taken away.
That's right. You probably got a form letter from your insurance when you renewed.
I'll be honest with you, I hardly ever check those form letters.
That's
and
right.
I'm probably not alone.
No, I mean, a lot of people don't even open their mail anymore because they have everything on automatic debit. But you probably got a form letter explaining what was taken away. And the most important benefit that was taken away is the medical rehab benefit. It used to be that as soon as you had an accident, you had a policy of $100,000 available for you for things like physio, chiro, psych, anything that you need after an accident. And that $100,000 lasted 10 years. Now, it wasn't automatic. Nobody wrote you a check for $100,000. But if you required treatment that was reasonable and necessary, it would be approved.
This is amazing because I know after your last segment we actually had physiotherapists that were on talking about the importance of people really being up to date with that, because oftentimes there is a lengthy physiotherapy process and a rehab process to help you get back to feeling like you were before something like this happened.
Right. I mean, and a lot of people suffer very serious psychological injuries, even from an accident that you wouldn't expect. People can have lasting post-traumatic stress or depression because their lives have changed, and that is expensive. A lot of our medical services aren't covered by OHIP, which you only realize when you're facing an accident or a serious injury.
I'm sure that you deal with a lot of clients that come in and have a certain expectation and then realize that they might have fallen into that they didn't realize their insurance no longer covers so many of these things.
Well, that's right, especially people who had fender benders. I had a gentleman in maybe 10 days ago who had a fender bender about 5 years ago. And in his words, the insurance company was throwing money at me to do different things, offered him housekeeping, offered him physio. And then now he has had a couple of courses of physio, still needs it, and can't get it. And that's because after September 2010, they reduced the medical benefit for a lot of people to $3,500. So it went from $100,000
to $3,500.
to $3,500 for most accident victims. There is also a group that gets $50,000, but for most people, it's going to be $3,500.
How is this not like kind of blaring, like, letters flashing? That's a massive change.
It is a huge change, and it was something that was done essentially without debate in the legislature, and something that the insurance industry lobbied heavily for, and basically got. What they did was basically distract attention from the changes they were making by saying, oh, we're going to fight fraud. This is all about fighting fraud. As if people are fraudulently getting physiotherapy or chiropractic. I personally haven't
I
seen
would
that.
see them maybe going and taking a holiday on a beach. I don't really think that they're going to be throwing in, I'm going to go hang out at a physiotherapist office.
Yeah, no, well but that's the logic. And so you get people, worried about insurance rates and worried about fraud, and then meanwhile they make this huge change where they reduce the basic benefit from $100,000 to $3,500.
Hopefully right now there's a lot of people at home that are double checking, that are going through their papers, or they're calling their insurance broker right now and saying, okay, where do I fall on this? How much more can people expect to pay to get it back up to what they probably thought that they were already getting?
Well, I mean, you need to get an insurance quote, but it isn't as expensive as you might think. And it's particularly important for people who don't have extended health care benefits. If you have a good healthcare plan and you're going to be covered for most of what you need, then it may not be so bad. For people who are self-employed or people who don't have workplace benefits, it's a huge blow because there really is virtually no OHIP covered physio in Ottawa. There's a little bit if you've had surgery, but mostly it's out of pocket.
Great information. I know right now I need to call home and say, you got to make a phone call. So we've got plenty more to come with Brenda Hollingsworth from Auger Hollingsworth law firm. Get us in your questions. I'm sure there's going to be plenty coming in. You can do it via a phone call. Well, you can talk to us live on the air, via Facebook, via email, via Twitter. So we'll take a short break. We'll be back after this.